Welcome back to the Healthy Chicago podcast, where local health professionals and their guests discuss the latest public health issues affecting Chicagoans.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing today? My name is John Jones. I'm with the Community Safety Coordination Center. I'm the rapid response lead there, and today I have the honor and pleasure to have a conversation, as I would like to say, with the one and only Greg Matthews. Greg is not going to say this about himself, so I'm going to say it for him. Greg is a Garfield Park resident, also a activist, organizer, a great human being, and a solid man. So, Greg, I am more than honored to be in this room with you today. I know of the things that you do, but please, for the audience, introduce yourself.
No problem. Thank you for having me today, everyone. My name is Greg Matthews. I am the Community Engagement Manager for Garfield Park. I also work with the CSCC, Community Safety Coordination Center, and I'm very proud to work with the Garfield Park Right to Wellness Collaborative, which is a group of stakeholders, religious organizations, community members who really seriously want to change the culture and the going on in Garfield Park. So proud to be part.
Yeah, that's dope. So I'm going to transition into the Cycle Breakers campaign, which for those at home who don't know, the Cycle Breakers campaign is a campaign that the CSCC launched publicly, I believe in the month of July. Cycle Breakers is this behavioral change campaign where very similar to the My Shot, My Future platform, where individuals, community members can check out the website and then request resources and really put in. And then I will be very transparent. My team then receives the responses and then coordinates that. So some of these resources include mental health. I've seen resources regarding mentoring. I've also seen people say like, hey, I actually want to be a resource. How can I plug in? And there's definitely going to be more to come with the Cycle Breakers campaign. But I wanted to bring that up for two reasons. One, you were on the committee that brought this idea up to the CSCC. And if you also can share a little bit about that committee, the purpose of that, and it's actually one of my favorite things about the CSCC is we have that community accountability. But I would love for you to share a little bit more about that. But also Cycle Breakers in itself. Understanding that this is a marketing campaign, but there's going to be a lot of implementation of that. And curious on your thoughts about the whole campaign itself, but also these next steps. And also, I want to, you have a marketing background, from my understanding. So if you want to really tap into that, I just would love for people to hear more about your thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting someone to do anything that is not their idea, it comes into play who you're talking to,
sure,
age, all that conversation it's pretty common. But when we're talking about cultural marketing, right? When we're trying to tap into the lifestyle of a person based on the environment that they live in, it's a little bit different.
Sure.
So the Cycle Breakers campaign is what it is a conversation which it's the package. That all of the good things that we're bringing to community, that's the box that we're bringing it in, right? Yeah. So how do you get them to unwrap the box?
Sure.
How do you make the present look nice,
yeah,
right? Well, it's the paper, it's the wrapping, it's the ribbons, it's the things that you put on top of it to make it look like it's for you, right? When you got excited.
That's good.
Hey,
I ain't gonna lie, that's good. That was good.
Hey, brother, that's marketing, brother.
That's a great analogy.
I mean, the reason you got excited at Christmas was because it said John on it, right? That one's for me, right? And so then you ripped it open, and then if it was exactly what you wanted, this day, right? It was just the best day. You just left it in the box for an hour because you were just so excited about it, right? And that's exactly what the Cycle Breakers has the potential to be if we encapsulate it the correct way, right? Having that pretty box and having that pretty package, and then you open it up and it's a sweater, right? That deflates you way more than if it was just a brown paper bag.
Sure.
You would expect that to be a sweater. You're not excited. Okay, whatever. Yeah. But if they really make it nice, they package it up really nice, and then you open it up and it's not really for you, right? Or they don't get you. That's impactful. So it's so important that we take any marketing campaign and we take the importance of it, not at the packaging, but the substance of it.
Sure.
So in this campaign specifically, it's our job, and everyone on that leadership committee that you talked about, it's our job to continue to keep the city honest about what's in the box.
Yep. Because
the city is really good at saying, we got a new box. Hey guys, new box. This one is great, sure. Right? And everyone in this city, you're from Chicago specifically, you can name the boxes.
Sure.
Some of them have been really nice, sure. Right? The ceasefire box, and some of those are really, really nice boxes, and they had nice stuff inside, right? But what happened, right? Did we stop? Did the gifts stop? What happened? What happened with the results? And that's what this has to be. It has to be a campaign that we take. And we have people understand that they're already a cycle breaker. If you're doing this work at a CBO, if you're doing this CVI, if you're a crime intervention worker, if you're doing something in this city where you actually care about kids, if you're a teacher, one of those real teachers, Brandon Johnson was one of those real teachers. You see his eyes light up when he reflects back to what he was like when his students were affected by something. Teachers, those teachers. Not all teachers are teachers. I'm talking about the real ones. Yeah. They're cycle breakers already. Yeah. What we need to do is just connect them to what's in the box. Yeah. If we connect all those people who are already substance, if we put them in the box, then when those kids open it up, it'll be for them. It'll be Christmas morning. Okay. To me, that's what cycle breakers is.
What are some things that, obviously, you have a lot of influence in this, but what are some things that you would want to be in that box? Oh, like you open the package and it's not a sweater, it's a
real easy, real simple. So in our 15 communities, in disenfranchised community, the first thing you want to have in that box is the basics. Okay. Where I live, how much I have to eat, my entertainment. The basic things that Gold Coast resident takes for granted, that's what has to be in that box. Okay, it has to be safe space to go play. It has to be fresh food, not garbage food, not acceptable food. Yep. Fresh food, meat and produce, right? Housing. My parents cannot be stressed about losing their home. They need to have financial stability. Some type of work program or job force that actually helps them not just maintain what they currently have, but helps them grow to be something else. Not for any other reason other than because they're a Chicago resident. Sure. You live here, so these are the resources that are here for you. This program. This is from the state, this one's from the city, all of these are here for you. We know that this is the situation you're in, but we're going to help you take advantage of these programs. We're going to really help improve the quality of your life. This is how you can do it. Man, is that for me? That's for you. And what do we call that? We call that cycle breaker. We're breaking the cycles that are happening in your communities, and we're making your communities better. But we cannot do it without you. That's why it has to be. Sure. That's why it fits so perfectly into the people's plan for community safety. Yeah. That's why Change the Bag and everything that we're doing has to be in that box. Yeah. So when the people open it up, safety's in here. Yeah, I can keep my kids safe on this corner. Yeah, that's in there too. Yeah. Education's in here. Yeah, that's for you.
Makes sense.
All of it has to be in that box.
Yeah. No, completely agree with you. And one thing that I would say, the unique thing about this campaign is, yes, we want to support our youth of highest promise, but we also understand there's the adults of highest promise and the caregivers as well. So the one thing that's unique about this campaign is, and the resources that we look to provide through this, which is in coordination of what the resources are within the city, but also a community-based organization in Garfield Park who has CVI, community violence intervention work, who has case management programs. How can we identify those resources to fit all three of these people groups? Because we understand that, yes, we need to incorporate one, but if we don't work in all three, then that cycle will never be broken, in a sense. So cycle breakers is a very strong word. And sometimes it can be used to, sugarcoat things, if we're being honest. You know, so it's pivotal that we continue to have voices like yourself and those on the committee and those who aren't on the committee. And just for awareness, the committee is composed of community-based organization leaders throughout our 15 community areas for the CSCC. So it's not just random people who are just elected. These are leaders who have been serving these communities and provide that accountability piece. I like to say, if I come to the committee and say, oh, here's an idea, I'm all high about it. And Greg Matthews says, John, what is this? I got to scratch it. Because I understand that this isn't what the community needs, and that I'm just doing this for kicks and giggles. So,
not that would ever happen.
Yeah, exactly. But it's unique though because it's just there's a lot of coordination around this, a lot of collaboration around this, and there's a lot of accountability too.
It's not always peaches and cream.
Yeah, it's not always peaches and cream. And accountability is a good thing.
Yeah.
As a CSCC, we recognize that we need accountability, especially if we want to be in this process of breaking these cycles.
Yeah.
But we also know as a city, like we have to extend our hands out to the CBOs, the people on the block who aren't affiliated with the group, who haven't been working in this organization, but has been the block club on this block for 30 years. I'm thinking about the Miss Sheila's, you know, but everything she comes out is true because she's passionate for her people. And how can we bridge that so that we can show from the city perspective, from the CSCC's perspective, is like we are passionate about providing these resources to you. We're also passionate about you in general. Yeah. Because, like you said, you're in the city. Yeah. You're a human being. So I have a lot of optimism when it comes to this campaign, especially knowing that the people who are playing a role in the implementation of it is our community members, but also our colleagues of mine. Think about the Elvises, the Mannies, the whole CSCC leadership team, and others individuals as well. It's like, we all understand what we're doing here. And we also understand that we have accountability to go to. Yeah. That's you all. Yeah. So, I'm very excited about the campaign. We've talked about it before, too, though. So I've seen a lot of progress from that last conversation we had in the hallway.
It takes because with any campaign, it takes the people who are implementing it to actually make it effective. What they give you or what they say it's gonna be is, that doesn't mean anything. It's what we're making it on the ground, right? Yeah. Because, commercials and ads and all that stuff is just packaging, right? We have to make sure we maintain it. And so, I appreciate everybody on that committee. I appreciate the hard conversations that we're having, right? Because we're not done. That's right. And it is difficult, and budgets are real. Mm-hmm. People have to understand both sides of that coin. Yeah. It's one thing to be an active community member and be mad that the city doesn't spend enough money on something that happens in society or community, or you guys could be spending your money on this. But you have to be also, you spoke on my marketing past, you have to understand that there's only so much money that can be allocated for something in a space, and no matter how much you yell and scream, that's not going to increase the budget. Sure. So at the end of the day, you got to make $5 look like 20, and that's just the way it is. Sure. If you don't get that, then you really can't do this work, because you have to have really thick skin. You got to be able to get told no and keep going. Yeah. So it behooves me to always be able to thank guys like you who have to do that work, because you have to tell me no sometimes, right? I get it.
That happened recently. Hey, we actually talked about that another time.
It happened recently, yeah, good. But sometimes things that I need I can't have, and I have to be able to tell community members who aren't going to be able to have no conversation with you that's going to go well. Yeah. I have to be able to tell them no. Yeah. So what does that look like, right? And that's me being able to play both sides of this very delicate line, walk both sides of this very delicate line, but we have to walk it. Yeah. Because the improvements that are happening in Garfield Park and around the entire city, they're not improvements that we get to decide or don't decide. Sure. This is going to happen, and it's just what matter of side of it. Yeah. Are you going to be on the good side of this thing, or are you going to be on the bad side of it?
Yeah. No, that's real. As I continue to think about your role and just replaying some of the moments I've seen you interact, I've been outside just chilling, seeing people from Garfield Park pull up. I talked to Greg the other day. told Arthur the other day. It just goes to show that, as a community engagement manager for the CSEC, you're with the city, and you said earlier that you're funded through philanthropy, which is how we're able to support you all. But man, y'all are the eyes and ears of your communities. Now, granted, there's, of course, these community areas have more than just you. So we work with other ones, but as understanding that from the CSEC perspective is like whatever Greg says about the Garfield Park community, we have to abide by that. And I think that is important for me as I continue to think about that accountability piece. And even with this marketing thing is like, oh, if I have a resource in Garfield Park, I'm gonna go to you.
Now, it's important, though, to understand that the only reason I'm effective at my job is because I can communicate with the entire community.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that I have an impact in the conversation, but it's not really my opinion.
Yeah.
The opinions that I bring to the table are coming from Dr. Sheila Vincent,
Yep.
Gina Jameson,
Yep.
Aunt Jones,
Yep.
Pastor Hatch,
Yep.
And I can go on and on and on and on. These community members are the foundation of what I think. Right, my parents were born and raised in Garfield Park. I live in Garfield Park, but I wasn't there when Dr. King was shot, and I did not see the park burn. But that was the beginning of the downfall of my community. There are people who I work with on a daily basis who were there. Miss LaShawn Kelly was there. They remember. They saw it burn. Tony Rags was there. They were part of the conversation. Why aren't things being rebuilt? So everything that I bring to the table, the passion, the energy, the have to, it's not from me.
Yeah.
It's from people who know what Madison and Pulaski looked like before that tragedy. They're not expecting this euphoric change to happen in Garfield Park because it's just cookies and cream. No, this is what it was when they were younger. The people who live in this community lived in a community that didn't need downtown. That's how affluent Madison Street was, with African American commerce. So why can't it be that now when the African American dollar is pretty well spent in our country? All we would need to do is really focus on that business district and understand how we could structure that. That's what our quality of life plan is doing. So the thought process about what we're doing is so doable and so understandable, and that's been made clear to me by the community.
Yeah.
So I come to my spaces with that ancestral thought process of what we're about to do.
Yeah, that's well said. I got no response to that, brother. That was well said. So we're wrapping up the conversation, but I gotta know your thoughts on some of these West Side foods. So I'm gonna do a quick. I'm gonna give you a couple questions.
Sure.
And just a quick response. I'm just curious,
Shoot.
You represent Garfield Park, so all right, bet. So we're gonna start off with favorite food spot in Garfield Park.
Oh wow. Mine is Joe Willie's.
Joe Willie's. Where's that at? Where's that at?
That's on Sacramento, right off the E-way.
What does Joe Willie's sell?
That's a fresh fish, chicken, lobster tail, greens, a little bit of soul, a little bit of seafood.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe Willie's.
Okay, Joe Willie's.
Yeah,
What intersection is that off? Sacramento and
Expressway.
290.
Okay. Yeah,
Joe
yes,
Willie's.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
All
Sir.
right. Favorite thing to do in Garfield Park?
Oh, you know what? To be quite frank, it depends. Like if I'm with the family, then we got to go to the Dome on a nice Chicago day.
Okay.
There's always some nice activity going on at the Dome. A lot of cultural conversation going on over there. And they have a great area where you can just go look at flyers and see what activities are happening in Garfield Park that's worth going to. So always check out the Dome. My thing to do when I'm by myself, just, hanging out, is I actually hang in the park. Right, if you're from the Garfield Park, then you hang in the park. Yeah. So you find your spot, find your people, go in the park, hang out on the summertime shy in Garfield Park is, that's where it's at. Those are two of my favorite things to do.
Okay. Last question is how do I phrase it? in a few words, maybe one word, how would you? Actually, I have another question after this. How would you describe the community in Garfield Park?
Family.
In your own words.
Family. Whether you are from the east side of the park, from the west side of the park, if you're from Garfield Park, you know someone from Garfield Park. Mm-hmm. They know someone from Garfield Park. It's a very, very, very tight-knit family. Okay. It is way smaller than it looks. Mm. Yeah, it's a beautiful family.
Okay. Last question is, it's 2024 now. It's 2034, 10 years. What is one thing that you're like, in 10 years, I want to see this change or this being completed in the Garfield Park community area?
In 10 years, we're going to have the corridor plan will be completed by then. So standing on the corner of Madison and Pulaski, it will literally look completely different than it does today. Yeah. So the retail, the commerce, essentially right now, for all goods, it is essentially a place where we don't want to be right now. Yeah. And in 10 years, it will be a place where you hang out. Dope. Yeah. Okay. That's the dream.
Okay. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
West Side. Okay. West Side is the best side. Let's keep that understood. Mm-hmm. Now we love the entire city of Chicago. We really do. But everything in the Chicago area starts on the West Side.
Yeah. When I moved up here, I was working out west, so I have a lot of love for the West Side. I think they adopted me a little bit.
Come on.
Yeah, so Greg, I greatly appreciate the time. I know you, like you said earlier, you represent more than just yourself in this. You represent those who've been there for years, those who have seen the tragedies, and those who are looking for a day where, like you said, that 10 years, people are hanging out, they're excited to come. And at the end of the day, the responsibility that you have is something that I know you do not take lightly. You carry that with you every day. That passion is very obvious. And it is more than a blessing to work alongside you and to learn from you. And obviously, I want to shout out Arthur Kozowski, who, for those who don't know,
AK
was our project manager for the West region and did an incredible job and working with a lot of organizations. But he would always just exemplify things that you've taught him. And it's been an honor to be able to share that with you, share it with the world today. But more importantly, just have a conversation about Garfield Park. So
anytime, it's a pleasure.
That wraps up our conversation, brother. But I appreciate you always, my brother. Yes, sir.
Anytime, man.
Appreciate it. All right, that wraps up our conversation. If you want to learn more about Garfield Park Collaborative, please reach out to Greg Matthews. I'm gonna put his email in the thing. We can share that with you another time. If you look interested more about the CSUC, feel free to Google that as well. And also your organization as well, the Garfield Park Right to Wellness Collaborative. But that wraps our conversation. It was an honor, my brother. Thank you all for listening.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you find podcasts. I'm Dr. Bora, and we'll see you next time.